Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my basketball compadre, my scout, my brother Alex. How you doing today?
What is up, everyone? Man, it's April and March Madness is still going on.
It's over now.
It's over now, yes.
It's over now. You can see by the shirt that I'm wearing, it did not end favorably for me and my team, but...
Wait, how did we get there, though?
That's a good point. So let's recap. Let's go back to the semifinals on Saturday.
That's right.
We'll start with the first one with with Sister Jean against Michigan.
Oh, you're going to get struck by lightning, let me tell you.
My goodness, did Sister Jean get some play or what?
She got plenty. Probably the most she ever had.
Not like that. You're going to hell, bro. You need to stop talking bad about Sister Jean. That's just not right. But, I like having these teams, these lower seed teams make it, but I don't want to see them in the Final Four because it is very difficult. Look, there's a reason they're an 11 seed or a 12 seed or something crazy like that. It's difficult for these teams. They have considerably less talent, I think, than a team like Michigan and certainly Villanova and Kansas. And they were obviously the little brother at the big dance. And admittedly, they played Michigan well through about 3/4 of the game.
Yeah.
And Michigan ended up finishing the game on a 38-16 run. But it's just kind of unfair for them to be there. Now, that being said, there's 15 other teams in there in their bracket that obviously didn't do their job. So,
yeah, I'm with you in the regards as far as I want to see the big boys play in the Final Four. Plain and simple. That's fine to have a Cinderella team, but obviously they couldn't hold their own in the second half, and turnovers really killed Loyola big time. So, yeah, I mean...
Which they hadn't done in their 4 previous games. They'd really done a really good job of taking care of the basketball. It was a really neat story. It was fun to watch. But at the end of the day, really had no business being in that scenario. The sad part for me was the Sister Jean thing kind of went too far. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, she was the main person they talked to at the press conference, at the press conference the day before the game. It's like, hey man, she's not going to dribble one ball. She's not going to take one shot. She's going to sit there with that little squeaky toy she had on her wrist, and she ain't doing shit.
Yeah, I find it a little unfair for the players, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean that's their time to shine, and the spotlight really got taken away from them. But you know what? She's how old? 90?
138.
138. You know what? She was having fun. So props to her for having fun.
I think she's 91.
Yeah,
props to her for making the trip.
Yeah. No joke.
I mean, it's probably tough for her to even get on a plane. It's tough, man. I tell you what, though, they do have the big center, who I think is a freshman, isn't he?
Well, I don't know,
the big white guy?
He's huge.
He's huge. And, man, he really displayed a lot of nice moves in the paint.
Yeah.
He wasn't... he might be undersized for the next level in terms of playing a true center position.
Right.
But in college, and, who knows how much bigger he's going to get or how much more agile or whatever, he really held his own. He looks like he could be something special going forward. But then again, there's no telling with those other guys graduating and who's going to be there. Will they be able to get him the ball? But he looked impressive in the paint. I thought he looked really good, and maybe a guy that we hear about again in the future.
Yeah, he impressed me in the round before in the Elite Eight against Kansas State. That's when he really kind of caught my eye, and he played well again against Michigan.
Had some nifty moves and everything.
And yeah.
So
what about on the other side we had Kansas against Villanova.
I tell you what,
man, I got my popcorn ready and I had my my Pepsi and I was ready to go, and about, I don't know, 3 minutes in,
It was over.
it was done.
My goodness, it was amazing how quickly 5 became 8, became 10, became 12, and it was 22. I mean, before you knew, in a blink of an eye, and they were just shooting lights out. I mean, it was just a barrage of threes.
Yeah, it was impressive how Villanova came out that game and how flat Kansas. I mean, Kansas just never got into. Was never able to get into a rhythm.
You know, I heard an interview after the game with Jay Wright, and Jay Wright said, you know, I feel sorry for Kansas because they never really got to get into the game. I don't think they didn't get into the game. It's hard when they're draining threes and you make a 2 and miss a 2. That's a 4-point swing right there, and it's like, we got to hustle, and then you start chucking up threes, and next thing you know, it's a 20-point lead, and I mean, it looked, for as competitive as I thought that game was going to be, it looked like men against boys. It was amazing to watch. And look, I've said it all. I said it all tournament long. I'm very proud to say that I had the final game correct. I had Michigan versus Villanova, and I had Villanova winning. In my heart of hearts, of course, I wanted Michigan to win, but I said it all along. Villanova looks just a notch better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Even than the elite teams. They look like they could go out and win a series convincingly against Virginia, against Kansas, against Duke, against Michigan State, against any of those teams.
Against the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah. They look like they could just do it. It's something about the way they carried themselves and the way they played throughout the tournament. You know, they beat Kansas and the game against Kansas I thought was their perfect game, really.
Yeah. Well, they had one more to play.
Yeah.
And shoot, they damn near pitched another perfect game. I mean, I was hoping for a nail biter, and it ended up being the exact opposite. Early on, Michigan found their way to the hoop, but ultimately they got behind exactly how you said earlier.
Yeah.
Once they got behind, they relied way too much on the 3-pointer.
Yeah.
And Villanova just looked like a complete team out there.
Well, and that's been the Achilles heel for Michigan all year, I think. In the games that they don't defensively, they were always good. Where they seemed to struggle was on the offensive side of the floor, and it's always been the same thing. When they forget to pick and roll and go to the hole and get the intermediate jumper, they rely too much, on that perimeter, right around the top of the key for threes. And if those don't drop, if you miss 3 in a row, man, it goes south. And they did a great job that first half up until about, I'd say, 8 minutes left, 12 minutes. God, when you say it like that, it doesn't sound that impressive. For 12 minutes, it was quite the game. It was very entertaining, back and forth. Michigan had a little bit of a lead. Villanova came back, but they played together. And then Michigan kind of got cold, and that DiVincenzo guy came on, and my goodness.
I never knew Leonardo da Vinci could play basketball like that.
Leonardo DiCaprio was unstoppable.
This guy came off the bench. He's their 6th man. After that game, I don't even know how he plays the bench. I mean, he needs to start.
I didn't think Danny DeVito could play basketball that good.
I mean, this guy came off the bench and dropped 30 points in a championship game.
Was it just 30? I thought he got to 32.
Yeah, he probably got 32. I mean,
incredible.
The way he played, and he passed the ball well. He played defense.
Before you say anything else, all joking aside, Dante DiVincenzo. We're joking around with all the other names, but he really deserves his own call out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dante DiVincenzo, man, tip of the hat.
Yeah.
Guy comes off the bench and does that.
I mean, he single-handedly carried Villanova tonight because Brunson was off.
Yeah,
I mean,
if Michigan could have kept that guy on the bench, I think Michigan would have won.
Yeah, I mean, you take away
Michigan
the 30
would
points.
have won by 10.
Yeah, it's that simple. When you break it down in math terms.
Yeah, I mean, really, this game isn't that complicated. Just don't let that kid play, and we win.
Yeah, Brunson had an off game. He never looked like he could.
He made his first 2 shots, and I thought, because Simpson on the other side is a good defender, but very limited offensively.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, just hold Brunson. And the first 2 drives down the floor, Villanova scores, and Brunson scores first 2 shots. And I'm thinking, I saw that. I mean, it was 4-4 early on. I'm thinking, it's just he's too hot. That's not good.
I don't think he made another basket until right before halftime. He made a 3-pointer. So DiVincenzo had a block, and then he came back and nailed a 3. I don't think he made a basket between.
No, and I don't think he made any in the second half either.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't.
Which is unfortunate for him because he had a fantastic tournament in the game before that against Kansas. I mean, he was lights out. Yeah. Kansas just couldn't. I mean, they were in that guy's shorts and he was still making them. I mean, it was ridiculous. But Villanova, again, I feel, and everyone's going to think I'm saying this because I'm a homer. I feel bad for Michigan and I feel bad for Kansas. Both of those teams are really good teams, and I think they're not going to get enough credit because they went up against Villanova, who, look, they acted professional, they played professional, and they absolutely manhandled these teams. They look like they really did look like an NBA team going up against a couple of college kids. And it's unfortunate for Michigan and Kansas that they're going to finish their season on such a sour note, but they really have nothing to hang their heads about. I think
they lost to the better team.
Yeah, Villanova is. This team is fantastic. I would put this team up against any of the champions we've seen in the last 10 years, and I bet you they would win. In a series against any of the previous 10 champions, I'd take them.
Yeah, this tournament really wasn't one of the better ones that I've seen. I mean, the best game of this tournament was Kansas and Duke. They gave us the best game.
Well, don't forget about that UMBC game.
Yeah, I'm not. No, nobody remembers that game. But I mean, yes.
Oh, everyone's gonna remember that name. Are you kidding me? More people are gonna remember that UMBC beat Virginia than Kansas and Duke.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, nobody. I don't think everyone was sold on Virginia either.
No, but
just the ones filling out the brackets.
No, but everyone's gonna be. Yeah. Everyone's gonna remember that 16 that beat that one for very many years when there was only one number 2 that lost.
Right.
Was Syracuse against Richmond. Everyone knew the Richmond Spiders. In fact, the only reason we know that they're the Spiders from the University of Richmond is because of that one game where they beat Syracuse.
Well, the proof is right here. 1 and 2 people will remember it. I didn't remember it. You did. So. Not everyone will. No, honestly, I didn't even remember that game.
I think everyone will remember UMBC.
Yeah, well, I mean,
especially because it's probably not going to happen for a really long time.
Yeah.
Because a 1 will never take a 16 lightly again.
Ever.
Especially if they have a none on the sidelines.
So what do you think about? So Jay Wright, the coach for Villanova, now has won 2.
He's been there 17 years.
I didn't know he's been there that long. I thought he was there maybe 5.
Yeah, the guy looks like he's about 5 years out of school. I mean, he's a good-looking kid.
No, he looks great. I mean, he's got 2 championships in 3 years.
I like that guy. You see a lot of the interviews with him, and you can see where it's very clear where that Villanova team gets it from.
Yeah.
They get it from him. He's very professional, very nonchalant, I shouldn't say nonchalant, that makes it sound like he doesn't care. He's very professional. He doesn't get overly excited even on the touchline. On the sideline. Mm-hmm. He doesn't get real excited about stuff. You won't see him arguing with the refs. He always has his jacket on. He never takes it off. He seems very, very composed, and his team plays the same exact way. I like Jay Wright. I think he's really good. And he's probably really paved the way to do something special at Villanova for many years to come.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have high school players want to go and play for him now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and when you look at the other side, you look at John Calipari, right? Who's been to many Final Fours, won a bunch of conferences, and he's only got 1 championship. right? And then you kind of compare. Man, he's got all the prospects, right? That go there.
But that's because he gets the one and done talent. Jay Wright's not going after that one and done talent.
No,
he's going after guys that he thinks are going to be there for 2-3 years, and he develops them, and they become a Dante DiVincenzo and a Jalen Brunson. So I think it's a little bit different. The comparison is not quite the same. But the job that they do, I think, is equally impressive. I mean, for John Calipari to constantly be in the top 10, top 15 with freshmen every year, I mean, that's got to be hard to do.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I think Michigan made it this far, they had good senior leadership. Right? It's easier to coach a team when you have leaders on the team. When you get a bunch of kids, it's tough. So I am more impressed with what Jay Wright does, but I am still very impressed with what Calipari does. And quite frankly, I think the Calipari way is more tiring.
Yeah, because it's just a quick turnaround, right?
Yeah.
And so
if you have a bad year, it's a long year until you get to the next one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All in all, the tournament was okay. It was just okay. We got a dud for the championship.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, really. And the semifinals.
Plus, my bracket didn't do well, so I'm even less impressed.
I don't think anyone's bracket did well.
After the second day.
Yeah, I wonder. They say I read somewhere where 550 brackets out of 17.3 million had the correct Final Four.
Wow, that many?
550 people picked Loyola.
That many?
I know. Isn't that something? Like, who does that? Wow. I promise you, all 550 of those entries were not solo entries. No one did one bracket and had Loyola in the Final Four.
Maybe the 550 people Sister Jean knows.
Sister Jean and 549 of her friends filled out brackets.
We're so dead.
Man. That's terrible. Sister Jean, that's not, it's probably not good when a nun is the highlight of the highlight person of your tournament.
Yeah, no.
I'm willing to bet more people could name Sister Jean than Jalen Brunson. Which is kind of sad.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Whatever.
But hey, whatever.
It is what it is, right?
She got her shine.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. I know you probably did not watch the women's tournament, the women's Final Four.
No, I did not. I did not. I didn't watch it in full. I got pretty good timing at it with the
caught the end of every game.
Pretty much. Especially the UConn and
now
Notre Dame game.
We were talking about this before, like what's the best day in sports? Mm-hmm. The Final Four weekend, I really enjoy. Like I watched both of the women's semifinals. I watched both of the men's semifinals, and then I watched the championship game for the women and the championship game for the men. I enjoy it, and the women's Final Four was infinitely better than the men's Final Four. I mean, the two semifinals went into overtime. One of them on a buzzer beater ended on a buzzer beater. The other one, was a 2-point difference as well, but not quite a buzzer beater. And then the final, it was a buzzer beater to win the national championship. And you want to talk about money? That girl, that woman from Notre Dame. I know her first name's Arika. I can't pronounce her. Ogun Buwali, I think it is.
Yeah.
Holy onions, baby. Onions. Can you say onions for a chick?
No, not really.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. The shot against UConn was great, but she was open.
Yeah.
The shot against Mississippi State was fucking ridiculous.
She had like two girls were covering her.
She had one on the side of her, and the other one was in her shirt. in front of her. And she threw up. You know how a lot of times when it goes through the hoop, it kind of like hits the back of the rim, right? It hits the rim as it comes through and kind of comes back.
Right.
She rainbowed that thing so much that when it went through the net didn't move. It was that much of a rainbow.
What I was impressed with was, I don't care if she had nobody covering her, 2 people covering her. She hit back-to-back game-winning shots in the Final Four and the championship game.
I wonder. We should have looked this up before we started. If Michael Jordan ever had 2 game-winning shots in a row in the NBA in any game, because seriously, think about it. If you go back-to-back hitting game-winning shots, that's a good couple of days.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But if you do it in the national semifinal
Right.
and then again in the final, Arika is the athlete of the week. She's better. She's a better story than Sister Jean. I mean, that just incredible. And did you hear about the exchange with her and Kobe?
No.
So apparently Kobe Bryant was at the Final Four, and apparently he was repping UConn, right? So he had some UConn gear on, right? Fairweather fan, whatever. She made the shot to beat UConn, and I don't know how it happened, but there was some Twitter exchange between her and Kobe Bryant. And in that exchange, she made the comment that her weekend was made when she got a response back from Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
To which Kobe Bryant responded, "Your weekend's not over till Sunday. You still have business to take care of."
Wow.
And then she did. She is the female version of the Black Mamba.
She's the new Black Mamba.
She's a Black Mama. That didn't sound right. Let's stick with the female Mamba. The Mambette.
The Mambette.
Just incredible. And for those of you, and I'm talking to you, who don't watch the women's Final Four, you're missing out. I think it's a great event. It's a great event. UConn's always there, and they're always undefeated, so you have a chance to see a team go undefeated maybe. And the other teams are really good. I can't stomach the first couple of rounds because the disparity between 1 and 16 in women's basketball is much greater than it is in men's basketball.
Yeah.
But when you get to the Final Four, it's great. I love watching it, and I'm all in, man.
Yeah, I guess the problem for me is I don't watch any women's college basketball throughout the season, and so when it gets time to the Final Four, I don't know anyone. I don't know the teams. I know the teams. I know UConn's going to be there, but I mean, other than that,
yeah. But do you have to know the teams?
Yeah, I would like to. Yeah, I don't want to just be because I just can't get into it.
I don't. It's the same reason I watch the World Cup of Rugby, right? I have no idea who any of those people are, but the intensity and to see these two teams that I know are performing at the highest level in their sport, there's something that makes it compelling, and I love watching it, man. So to me, whereas we were talking about before about the best day in sports, I throw that Final Four weekend in there because the women's tournament has become very compelling over the last few years. The men's tournament's always great. I love the Final Four. It's great. The finality of it.
Yeah.
Again, you're talking about the tip of the spear, the very best of the best. It's fun to watch. You should broaden your horizons a little there, Alex.
No, it's okay. I'll pass. Plus, it interferes with the opening day of baseball. Nah.
Opening day. How was your opening day?
It was great, man. I got to skip out of work for a half a day, and got home, barbecued, and fired up the TV.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Watched some baseball, man.
It's
beautiful, great.
But it doesn't feel like baseball season should be going on with games getting snowed out in New York.
Yeah, right?
That's crazy.
That
It's April and we're still getting snow.
Yeah.
It happened once when I was a kid, but it's nuts. And so both New York teams were in New York today, and neither one of them played.
And by the way, please, next season, let's start the games on Monday. It's a lot. I think
get a 3-day weekend. It's hard to go back to work on Friday.
Yes,
right?
luckily it was Good Friday, so I got 3.5. But Let's just keep the opening day on Monday. It's much better.
They keep moving it around, and I'm not quite sure what they're trying to do.
I don't know.
Did you notice a lot of the fields said opening weekend?
Yeah, see, I don't like
it's
that.
not opening weekend. It's opening day.
Yeah.
What about the guy from Chicago? You think he's going to have a good year? First pitch?
Oh,
First pitch of the season.
Bro.
And he hits a home run. I bet you that guy's going to rake this year.
But you know what? I don't know why more batters don't do that. You know, the first pitch of the game, 95% of the time,
You're
is
gonna get a strike.
fastball down the pipe.
Yeah.
Right? Just swing.
Be ready to go,
Just
man.
swing.
Yeah, I agree. I was a notorious... no, I wasn't. I was a terrible hitter when I was a kid. I couldn't hit the first fastball or the last one.
That's on T-ball.
I whipped it. I whipped it all of them, man. Just waving at them. So moving on, we'll talk a little positive running. So I'm going to change gears on positive running today because I realized this is our 10th episode. 10,
bro. That's a milestone.
Wow. Yeah, man. Sometimes it feels like we've done a lot of these.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like we haven't done a lot of these.
I know. We're like, man, we want to do more.
Well, no, like when we have sound problems,
we
can't figure out the sound. We're like, yeah, we've only done 10.
Hopefully they can hear us right now.
Yeah, because we never do a mic check for this. We just wing it and hope for the best. But I just realized that as much as I've talked about running, I haven't talked a whole lot about my experience and what's going on here. I am now 2 weeks away from the Boston Marathon, and I'll tell you, I am very excited to get to that day. So just a little insight into what goes into it. You know, for me, the goal is to turn around and qualify again for Boston, which means I need to run, based on my age and gender, I need to run 3:25 or better. Realistically, I probably need to run 3:20 because of the number of applications they get. They take people that are so far below their qualifying time, and this past year was 3 minutes. So in my age group category, if you ran 3:22, actually 3:21:52, you got in. If you ran 3:21:53, you did not get in. So I always shoot for 5 minutes below my time, and quite frankly, I shoot for more than that because I want to qualify like a young guy, not like an old guy. I hate the feeling of the only reason I got in is because I happen to be
your age.
Damn near 50, right? So anyway, that's kind of my story, and I'll tell you, it's been tough physically. It's been a grind. A lot of the things that I've said over the past few weeks about your mind being in command and pushing is I've had to do that a lot. And for a guy like me at my age and my height and my build, to run 3:25 is quite a challenge. And so I've got to, I get to a point where I start watching what I eat and I start cutting weight and I start dropping some pounds. And I'm not a huge guy, but I'm 6 foot tall. It's just I'm not a small guy. You look at those elite athletes, those Ethiopians, they're like 5'6", 5'8", and they're lugging around 120, 130 pounds. I'm 185 pounds.
Big difference.
Which is a big difference over 26 miles. So I gotta cut down. I gotta cut some weight. And for me, the hardest thing is the sweets. I gotta stay away from the sweets. And yesterday was Easter, and so I had a hard time yesterday because I had to have me a little one of those. I got some of those Reese's peanut butter eggs.
You hung out with your peeps.
And I got a thing of Peeps, and I'm gonna stay away from it. But again, it's just that discipline, and we go back to what I've said all along: the juice is worth the squeeze. I don't like passing on the sweets. I don't like passing on the beer. I don't like passing on the wings and the pizza and things like that. But at the end of the day, I know it's worth it to get to Boston and to run that very special race and to do well there. It means so much to me. And so, I have the benefit of having been there before. So I know how special it is. I know how good the feeling is when I perform well there. And so it's a little bit easier to be motivated because you can always kind of keep that in mind. But that's why when you haven't done it before, for those of you that are training for your first whatever race, get yourself around people who have done it, and they'll tell you how special it is, and they will motivate you, and they will inspire you to stick with your goals and stick with your training program and make the sacrifice of getting up early and running and watching what you eat and getting rest and all that other stuff. And so here I am now, just 2 weeks away. Us marathoners start to taper at 2 weeks. So we start to run less with less intensity, less miles, less intense miles, less speed workouts and things like that. And not so much this week, but next week, you really start to go into what's called taper madness. You went from running a lot and running hard, and now running very little. And so you have a lot of energy and you want to do stuff. You want to go out and run because you feel good, you feel fresh. But you know that it's not the right thing to do. You just got to let your body rest and recover as much as possible before the race. And it does drive you a little bit crazy. I usually try to schedule like little stupid stuff like haircuts and whatnot that week so that I
keep my
mind off of running, and I try to sleep in a little bit, but even that's hard to do, and it's tough. But again, the juice is worth the squeeze. Put in the work, even when you get very close to the race. Keep your eyes on the prize, and you will get there. But it's an amazing experience. We have some special plan for that weekend. We'll be doing it'll be our first time doing a podcast separately but together, right? So my brother will still be here. I will be in Boston, but we're still going to produce high quality podcast content.
Check us out.
Yes, definitely. Definitely check us out on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, all those fancy media sites, and
it might not have any sound, but at least you get to see us.
That's right. Well, that's the only reason we're on YouTube. But just in case the sound goes, you can see us. Hey, some people can read lips, so you never know. But anyway, that's all I have for positive running this week.
Yeah, I think the key to running and weightlifting is find a partner that you can motivate and that can motivate you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes for me it's hard at the gym. I'll go with my wife and my daughter, but they're not lifting weights, they're not bench pressing, so it's just me, myself, and I. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you struggle, you struggle to find that motivation, someone to kind of scream at you and.
Let me ask you a question, because I run into a lot of people on the running scene. I'm curious what it's like on the weightlifting or weight training. Is it intimidating to train with someone who is considerably stronger than you or considerably not as strong as you?
Is it intimidating?
I guess. A person is it intimidating to train with someone who's considerably stronger than you? Does it take away from your training to train with someone who's considerably less strong than you?
No. Actually, for me, if I were to train with someone that's stronger than I am, I think that would motivate me even more to
push yourself
to do the damn thing,
right?
And then on the flip side, if I were to train with someone that's less stronger than I am, I think I would be capable of motivating them. I think the easy thing would
that in turn motivate you?
Absolutely, yeah. To be able to motivate someone else, heck yeah,
yeah.
Because I would love to train with big bad Brad at the gym that can bench press 800 pounds.
Yeah.
Or like James Harrison, that guy. That would be cool to train with that guy.
That guy's a beast.
I'll be kind of scared.
Yeah.
I have to wear a diaper, but no, yeah, absolutely. I would love to have someone that would push me, and I know you run in groups a lot, so that's great motivation, I think, to get you going,
I will say this, for anyone out there who's looking to start training and looking to join a group, do not worry about whether you're the fastest or the slowest in a group. I hear so many people be so intimidated to run with that person because they're so fast. And you don't understand how motivating it is. For me, I find it incredibly motivating to run with someone who's faster than me, and incredibly motivating to run for someone who is not as fast as me.
Right.
Because I feel the responsibility of being their example, of pushing them to their limits. It helps me, maybe not right then and there, but the next time I go out, I remind myself of how I push that person, and I push myself if I'm by myself.
Right.
And I've run with people who are considerably faster than me, and it has been some of the best workouts ever on the track. It's been with those guys that are faster than I am. And they beat me. They beat me every single time, right? And you know, we do laps around the track, and for example, sometimes we do like 800s, for example, which is 2 laps. And I run with a guy who's a 250 marathoner, and I am not a 250 marathoner. I won't tell you what I am, but I'm not 250. That's for damn. In fact, my first number is not a 2. It's more than that. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone out to the track, and I start with them on every single set of those 800s, and I know I'm going to lose every single time. And it just motivates me, and I see him pull away from me slowly as we go around the track. And all I do is say, just stay with him, just stay with him, just stay with him, just stay with him, just stay with him. And then I look down, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that fast. So it's incredibly motivating. And then when you have someone else, to be able to push someone else, it's a tremendous feeling, and it carries over for the next training run.
Right.
So my advice to you, and I think you agree with me, don't be intimidated by what you can or cannot do. Don't be intimidated by someone being stronger or faster than you. You are helping them just as much as they are helping you. Again, one of my favorite sayings, it takes a village to raise a child. And in training, I think that also works. It takes a village to train for a race, and you know, you'll be surprised what people you'll run with. And you know, I've run with people for years that I am considerably faster than them, and they run with me all the time, and they love it. And I beat the brakes off of them every single training run. But they love it because they know I'm going to run what I say I'm going to run, and they just follow along, and they do the best they can, and it motivates them. Don't be intimidated by other people's speed and strength. We're all on our own journey. We are all on our own path. And at the end of the day, you will benefit from being around those people, so don't be intimidated. No one's going to judge you for it, really.
No?
No, I mean...
You shouldn't be, at least, right?
No, I mean... You're out there doing the best you can.
Yeah, and doing something you love to do, right?
That's right. Something for your own good.
What else?
I don't have anything else. Do you?
No, I don't, man. I think the championship game kind of
took all the air out of your...
Took all the air.
I thought it was going to do that to me. I guess because it wasn't a nail biter, it didn't really wear me out.
Yeah.
I just kind of like, well, you know, c'est la vie. Hats off to Villanova. Hats off to Notre Dame. Fantastic seasons by both of those teams. And really, in Villanova's case, dominant tournament run, well-deserved. And in Notre Dame's case, what fantastic finishes. Really, I mean, just unbelievable. Both of those games. Wow.
Yeah, that was...
You got a shout-out?
Yeah, I got a shout-out. I got one. The first one...
2, wow.
Or 3, maybe even 3.
Wow.
Or 4. We could be here for hours.
Okay.
My first shout-out is going to go to my favorite NBA player of all time, who just got inducted to the Hall of Fame, Jason Kidd. I've watched Jason Kidd...
Since you were a kid?
Since I was a kid. The first time I saw Jason Kidd he was playing, it was a Saturday afternoon, he was playing in college with the California Golden Bears. And I have no idea, I'm like, I don't know how old I was, like 13 maybe. Yeah. So, I don't know what made me watch this game, but I remember him playing that one game, and he impressed the hell out of me. And then when he got to college... And his rookie year with the Dallas Mavericks, I fell in love with this game. So apparently I have an eye for talent. I mean, I saw something in him that I knew one day he would be a Hall of Famer. So my shout out goes to Jason Kidd. I love watching him play.
You have always been a huge Jason Kidd fan.
I have.
More than anyone I know.
It's weird.
It's kind of weird.
It is.
Well,
but
whatever. Hell of a player.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
Second all time in assists, man.
Must be pretty good.
And let's see. My other shout out goes to my neighbor, who I don't know how he's doing it, but he hooked me up with the username and password for to watch all 4,000 Major League Baseball games this year. So I get to watch any game I want. I said, hey,
Pat. You're not going to make it to work.
Probably. Well, no, that's where I watch the game, the afternoon games. What are you talking about? So, and my third, but not my last, but not least, shout out goes to a high school catcher by the name of Luke Terry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've heard about the story, but he was at 19 months. He had his right arm amputated. I guess he had contracted E. coli.
Ooh.
Yeah. So someone posted a video about him.
His right arm.
So someone posted.
Wait a minute. You said he's a catcher.
He's a catcher. Yeah.
And he has no right arm. Holy shit. So
someone posted a video of him this past weekend that I got to see, and he. So the pitcher throws him the ball. He catches it. He flips the ball in the air, and as the ball's in the air, he slides his glove off of his left hand, catches the ball with the left hand, and flips it back to the pitcher. You have to check out this video because it is the smoothest. I mean, he's got it down packed.
Wow.
It is impressive.
That is impressive.
Watching a catcher. Yes. Luke Terry goes to high school in Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
If you want to catch the video, go search up Tony Austin _10. He posted the video this weekend, and
I'm guessing at this point you just type in Luke Terry.
Yeah,
Google.
probably. Yeah.
Wow. I gotta catch that.
Yeah, I mean, and it was about a 40-second video, and it was just truly amazing to watch this kid do that.
That's incredible.
And so all his coaches say he didn't make the team because they felt bad for him. He's got a competitive side. Like is
fantastic.
Yeah. So my shout out goes to Luke Terry. Follow him on Twitter. I'm not sure what his Twitter handle is, but I'm sure if you search up Luke Terry, you'll be able to find him. Shout out to you, man. You're truly an inspiration, and
awesome.
You got an awesome story. I hope you make it far.
Me too, man. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
It's like the guy from that linebacker from Central Florida.
Yes.
Who's looking like he's gonna go pretty early in the
draft.
He
had a good combine.
Yeah, very good combine. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Those stories are incredible.
Yeah.
People overcome. Yeah. It just goes to show the only barriers to success are really right here.
Yeah.
Those are the only barriers. If you want to, you can do just about anything.
Anything you want.
That is super impressive. Yeah. I'm glad you shared that with us, and I did not know that one at all. I hadn't even.
It popped up on my timeline this past week.
Awesome.
So I'm like, oh.
Awesome. My shout out goes out to my son. We played in a one-day baseball tournament on Saturday. And so we played the first two games in the round robin, won them both. He played okay. And I got stuck. I got stuck managing. I'm one of the assistant coaches, but the head coach couldn't show up, so it was left on me. I decided I would go back and forth between righties and lefties, and I wouldn't let anyone pitch a whole bunch. And just kind of the way it shook out in the first two games, I didn't use them. I didn't use my son. And he played okay in the first two games, no problem. So we get to the we make it to the final, and it's a double elimination. So we have to win one before we lose two. And I told him, I said, well, I've used all of my pitchers except for you, so you're going to start. And my thought was, I'll pitch him 3 innings, and I'll bring in a lefty, and then if I have to, I'll go back to my ace, who's right-handed and not my son. And just started the game, and he was just on fire. I mean, he was just, if he's ever going to struggle, it's going to be finding the strike zone. And Saturday was just one of those days where he wasn't throwing all strikes, but he wasn't missing by much.
No.
He was right around the strike zone even when he was missing. And I think he got out of 1 inning with 4 pitches. So before I knew it, it was the 4th inning. And I'm like, well, shit, he's doing fine.
Yeah.
And he wants to keep going now, right? He's hot.
Oh,
he knows he's hot. He's like, I can keep going. I'm fine. Well, the head coach gets there during that championship game, that first game. And so he's asking me, okay, what have we done? And so I explained to him what I did with the pitchers and everything. And so, they play 6 innings, and we're in a tight game. Send them back out for the 5th. And the head coach and I are like, and we told him, you get into any kind of trouble, you look any kind of tired, we're pulling you out. Don't worry. It's not because you've done a bad job. You've done great, but, we got to win the game. He went out there and just kept hammering away in the 5th. And so he comes off the field in the 5th, and we're up 2-1. And he comes off the field, and I shake his hand, and I go, good job, thanks. I appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And he goes, you're welcome. And I go, you're done for the day. He goes, I'm still playing, right? I go, yeah. I go, but you're done. You're not pitching anymore. He goes, okay. And he expected it. Come on. We score a couple more runs to get up 4-1. The inning's over, and the head coach is sending them back out to the field, and he goes, everyone in the same positions. And my son looks at me, he's like, pitch? And I'm like, yeah, that's what the head coach said. And so he went back out to pitch. It got a little dicey in the beginning of that inning. A couple of errors. They scored a run, but then he settled in again and got a weak little pop-up to second base to finish off the game. And so he pitched a complete game, 6 innings, gave up 2 runs. I think he only had 1 walk, which that's his Achilles heel. Yeah. And really just I don't want to say masterful, but in Little League, to hold a team to 2 runs is pretty much masterful. It's pretty good. And and of course he was just super excited, and they won the championship and blah, blah, blah. It's not the biggest championship in the world. Obviously, it was a small Easter weekend tournament, but it, obviously made him ecstatic. And, just his focus was just on point Saturday. He was just all over it on that mound. He was smooth as can be. The other coach at one point was trying to get his batters to step out of the box and kind of mess with his timing, and he just didn't let anything faze him. He was just locked in. It was beautiful to watch. My hat's off to you, son. You did a fantastic job. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was there to witness.
It was fun.
It was good. It was good.
Thanks for not taking my shout out, because I know you were.
I was this close, man. I was this close. I'm like, I'm gonna mess with him.
We would have had the first act of violence on our podcast. Because I'd have beat the brakes off.
That's not positive.
Oh no, I'm positive I would have beat the brakes off of you. So with that, we come to an end of our 10th episode. 10.
Wait, 10.
I want to say thank you to all the fans. I want to say thank you to all of our friends and family who support the podcast, who have given us grief, who have given us critiques, who have given us a pat on the back. I very much appreciate it. It is very, very welcome. It has been so much fun talking to all of you, and we're going to do 10 more, at least. At least 10 more. Who knows? But we are having a blast doing this. I hope you are enjoying this as much as we are enjoying doing it. With that being said, if you want to offer any more of those aforementioned comments, compliments, concerns, pats on the back, whatever it is, shout out, whatever, let us know. You can reach my brother at
Brooklyn Gaucho on Twitter.
That's right. And you can reach the show at Positive Sports at gmail.com. Positivesports10 at gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of me, talk running, talk sports, talk about anything, I don't care. I'm a chatterbox. You can reach me at eMontana21 on Twitter. And as always, my friends, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.